Hi, I'm Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about how God richly blessed every area of my life. And what's interesting about it is that I worked very hard. I was very diligent my whole life, even before I became a Christian, in order to achieve the life that I have now, which is exactly everything I ever wanted my whole life. But what's interesting is that even though I put in all the work, and it wouldn't be surprising to see that I got what I wanted, I had a block in every area of my life until I became a Christian. And when I became a Christian, how quickly everything opened up to me is miraculous. It's obviously from God. So let me tell you the details. I'll start off with finances because that's more quantifiable and probably attracts more people. But I started college when I was 14. I lived super frugally. I worked hard. I had, jobs in high school. I graduated with a STEM degree with a high GPA, almost a 4.0 in my major, economics. And then I could not get a permanent job with health insurance that paid me what you would think I would get paid for 5 years after graduating. So I became a Christian in June of 2018. I have a lot of my testimony videos out there, so you can check those out. But I became a Christian instantaneously because I was given a vision. I had a supernatural experience, and that's what made me a Christian. So it happened for me in an instant. And after I became a Christian in June, I got the job of my dreams, one that I actually wasn't the job of my dreams. It was better than that I didn't even realize was a possibility, in August. So shortly after, that includes the whole interviewing processes, application processes, everything. And so I was making around double what I had been making before, and obviously had health insurance. That's when I became an industrial engineer at Boeing. And that's sort of a job that I expected to have. So that's when I started making the pay that I expected to have upon graduation. And I expected things to be high because I was getting a STEM degree and I had a really good GPA. I thought that mattered. So next, I have so many blessings like going through my head, but I have to just stay on this one timeline so you understand how every blockade was lifted at the same time. So I'm gonna move right on to my relationship. I wanted to get married for a really long time. I wanted to have kids for a really long time, but I had several boyfriends in, even high school, college. Several times where people wanted to get married to me. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. I had long-term relationships. And then I had this relationship that I was currently in. We had been together for about 5 years, if I remember right. And we, had been engaged for a long time, and we had been planning on getting married. But it was just not working out for whatever reason. Again, it's just sort of a supernatural blockade. And when I became saved, I started thinking, okay, what do I do now? I'm a Christian. And so I went to that boyfriend and we were living together, and I said, well, I was trying to have a breakup conversation with him. I said, well, I'm not going to be having sex before marriage anymore. So I was expecting this to be a breakup conversation. He said, oh, well, me too. I've been thinking the same thing. We shouldn't be having sex before marriage. And then I said, well, I also want to take a year of celibacy just to, refresh myself and get really clean, and, maybe I'll be a nun. I don't know, right? And so I said, I want to take at least 1 year of celibacy. And he said, okay, we can do that. He was willing to do that. So I thought, okay, if he's willing to do all that, I'll let him stick around. But we did achieve being celibate while living together for that year. But during that time, about 9 months into it, he attempted to cheat on me. And it wasn't planned, and it wasn't with somebody he knew. He was just at a party, and he would have done it. The only reason that he didn't do it is because the woman at the party turned him down, like at the last second, right? So on his way home from that, he felt really convicted, and he actually also had a supernatural experience with God about that specific experience, and God transformed him, and he became a born-again Christian, and his character and his personality changed drastically. He became the kind of person who is right for me. Now, from my perspective, what John didn't know at the time is that I had prayed to God, and I said, God, if you don't want me to be with John, I am all for throwing in that towel. You know, I am... This is so weird. I'm at a public park and my husband just showed up. But he said, oh my gosh, maybe he's like supposed to be in this video. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look, he's laughing. He's laughing. He can't believe that I'm here too. John, come out. Don't let the kids out yet. Don't let the kids out. Come on.
Okay, I see it. Oh.
I'm making a video right now.
Okay.
I want you to be part of it.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, I was just telling my testimony about how when we were taking that year of celibacy, and you know your story where you went to that party and then afterwards you became a Christian and everything, and I was just telling the part, and then you pulled right up.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Tell me about that. Tell me about what happened in your car ride home.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is this going on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You don't have to say.
Well, no, it's pretty cool. It's fine. No, I was just coming home. I was in the truck on the way to my work. And then I was just having a moment with God. Just trying to understand, you know, why I acted the way I did, you know? And like, it's a part of me that is weird. Like, I just didn't have control over, you know? And anyways, I just felt the Spirit of God like come upon me, you know? I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now, talking about it. It just kind of like trickled onto me, and I felt this huge peace, and I just broke down, and it just like, I just felt a huge transformation, you know, in my way of thinking, you know, and I felt like I had peace and also, you know, just power and strength, you know, behind it. It was amazing. Just transformed everything for me that day. But I felt it, you know, and but there's a whole testimony behind that where it was like, I was talking to him, and he said to me, he said, you're going to hell. He said, like, I'm done. We're done with this. And I had been a Christian my whole life, quote unquote Christian, right? What I thought was a Christian. I was a believer. I always believed in Jesus, but I never really acted as if I believed in him. I just didn't know the word, you know? And I'd started reading the word that year. And anyways, I started reading the word that year, and I went out in the world, and I thought the change there was like, I knew the word, but I went out in the world. I thought I could resist, but I couldn't without Jesus. So I needed to allow him into myself, you know, and I needed to give my life to him. And then he basically said, hey, we're done. You can't do this. I can't do this anymore. You know, this is it, brother. And that's when I understood what like true repentance meant. It means like a true transformation, you know, real repentance, you know, because I was in like a sin repeat lifestyle, and it just changed for me that day, you know. It's not that I don't sin anymore. It's just, it's different, you know, like everything's through God's eyes now, you know. So anyways, I could tell you more about why I was living that type of lifestyle, but I'll leave that for another time. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks. So what John didn't know at the time is that I had been praying and telling God, like, I am willing to give up this relationship. Like, whatever you say, my life is yours, I'm yours in every way. But what God did for me is transformed him. But I prayed, but I don't want to go through another heartbreak. So if you could make this relationship, if I could marry John, I would really appreciate that. And so then God transformed him and made him the right guy for me. Okay. So again, richly blessed me in that way. And I'll move on to the fertility aspect of it. I was approaching 30 and had never used birth control, or only used it like for a short time and like a really long time ago. And so I had never gotten pregnant. And I also had other signs, like I was told that I had PCOS, I had an ovarian cyst, and I had never had regular periods, and when I did, they were extremely, excruciatingly painful. And, you know, I've given birth twice now with no, spoiler alert, I've given birth twice now with no pain medication, and yeah, the periods were just as bad as like contractions. And anyway, I had a lot of signs of infertility, and we got married May 1st, and I got pregnant the next month. I got pregnant in June. Crazy. And then 6 months after giving birth to my first child, I got pregnant with the second one. So you can understand there was this blockade there for so long. And I'll add this detail too, because I wasn't a Christian, all those times, even when I was in high school and college and after college, I would have been happy to get pregnant outside of marriage. Like, I really just wanted to have a baby, and I knew that, you know, I had been told that I might have some fertility issues because of the PCOS, and so I wasn't extremely careful about not getting pregnant, because I was kind of hoping I would, because I knew that it would be, unlikely for me to get pregnant. So, but after getting married, boom, got pregnant the very next month, and again, got pregnant again with my second child super easily. And then later we decided to have a third, got pregnant the very first try with our third as well. So fertility opened up. And so I might need to make a part 2, but that was miraculous. My husband just showed up like that. This video is about testimonies, and I do have to go because my kids are coming out now, but thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and follow us along. Join us for part 2. Thanks.
You need to tell...
What?
You need to tell them how bizarre it is that I'm seeing her right here, right now. It's crazy because I never park here. I'm on the other side.
I was
of the
supposed
park.
to be at a dentist appointment, but I got there early, and so I got done with my appointment before it was supposed to ever even start. So I decided to sneak away to this park in this weird little corner right here to make this video because I felt inspired to. And then my husband showed up, and he never comes over here. He never parks here.
Ever. No, it's
Like,
crazy.
literally
Super
ever.
weird.
He just pulled up like that, and it was the moment that I was about to give his testimony on his behalf.
Yeah.
He showed up to give his own
I guess you need to
testimony.
hear from me.
Yeah, that was great.